Welcome to Gray Overload, and I'm Anthony, and today I'm going to take a look and review the Ryzen 7 1800X processor. Let's dive in. The Ryzen 7 1800X has been an impressive processor here the last couple months that I've been using it, and I'll have a little bit on that in a second. But this processor here is a huge upgrade for me because on my daily driver here at home, I was using an FX 8150, so a very old processor. But the reason why I didn't upgrade for so many years is that I just wasn't using my desktop the way I'm using it now. And now I'm rendering videos on this desktop. I'm playing more games. The games were I took a lull. I haven't been playing as much. And I just didn't do as much on my computer. I was writing more code on my Surface and stuff like that. And now I'm writing more code on here. So my needs changed and I needed to upgrade. And I was really considering the Intel 1600K at the time as well. And or 1600X, one of the two. I'm blanking on the numbers here. But I built a lot of those over the years. And a lot of Intel 6 cores, a lot from the HEDT. I'm like, okay, I need to go there if I want the performance. And then AMD had this Ryzen 7. I kind of waited out and I put a pre-order in, betting that it was going to be good enough. And I'll kind of end on what I thought and how good I think it is. I won't say it's horrible. I'll tell you that right now. But the little bit about this system I have, it's running with a Republic of Gameware's Corsair 6. And it has the BIOS of 1201 on it, and that has the AG ESA 1.0.0.4. So I don't have the .6 yet, but I hope that I get that soon. That should actually improve my memory compatibility as well. And the memory right now is running at 2133. I have not overclocked this memory. This is all stock. So all these numbers, I reset the BIOS and I said, okay, I'm going to go with stock. But I am using the G-Skill Trident Z, yes, and DDR4, and this is 3200 speed, so DDR4 3200. So that's the memory I'm using here, and it works out pretty well. And I hope that the .6 actually improves some of the compatibility, and I will be overclocking again. I'll leave that in the description once I run these same tests as well. But so I'm coming from a pretty slow processor overall, right? The 8150, right? It's pretty old and stuff like that, so I don't have a good this process is gonna be improvement no matter what, right? But I have used, and I've been using a lot, the 6900s and a lot of the Intel HEDT 6 cores, etc. So I kind of know where I want to be at performance wise. And so comparison a little bit here on the one benchmark I do have, this is all running with Windows 10 version 1703, and which is build number 15063. And I was running with Radeon graphics in June 17.6.1, if that matters at all. And I'm using the AMD balance power savings or power profile. So that's where all this all is. If you guys want to reproduce this, go ahead. I would be more than happy to see your results as well. I think more data is always great. So the FX 8150 in Cinebench was a multi-threaded of 508 and a single-threaded 87 with a ratio of 5.84 for the multi-threaded ratio. That's where I was coming from. So you know right now that from what you've seen elsewhere, that this is just going to be a horrible score and that the Ryzen 7 is going to blow it out of the water. And you'd be correct, because the multi-threaded for the Cinebench R15 was $1599, so $1,599, and the single threaded was 153. So that multi-thread ratio was 10.44 overall. Great improvements, and it shows, especially with a lot of the video editing and stuff, where it can really multi-thread well. And that was a huge improvement. Now I still know that with other reviews and everything else, it's still behind Intel stuff. But remember, this processor is $500 too, so that's kind of where I went as well with it. Then I ran CPU-Z. I don't have any other benchmarks for the FX 8150, so that's the only one I had. But in the Cinebench, I was running version 1.79, as you see, and that one was 4,598, and then the single threading was 426.8. So the multi-thread ratio on that was 10.77. Another great, and they're pretty within reasonable. Now, all these scores, I do have a standard deviation. I ran them multiple times and just picked a score. So they're all within a little standard of error. I say maybe 10 points either way. And I just decided maybe 15, depending. I'm trying to remember exactly, but they are they are much improved, very impressive. Then I ran the 3D Mark Time Spy, and that CPU score was 7,753. Now I only took the CPU score because I'm running a Radeon R7 360, pitiful graphics card, not even worth taking the GPU score. It's so choppy that I was, it was hard for me to watch. And so I was just like, okay, I'm just pulling out the CPU score. That's it. That's all I really want. So if you're going to do that test as well, just pull out that score. And I'm willing to see your graphics card too. If you have a better graphics card, I want to see it because I am looking to upgrade the graphics card in this thing to be able to play games. Like I said, the 360 is choppy, but I want to play games in here. This is a CPU review though, so I'll go back to the CPU side of things. But PC Mark 8 I did this with OpenCL. The home score was 4,368. I do not have the work score because it decided to keep crashing on me every single time I ran the program. Tried everything, so I gotta look into it. I know that there's an update that fixes some Ryzen7 issues, so I'll post that in the comments as soon as they get that fixed, or I figure out what issue I was having with it. If you guys have any solutions as well, pass them my way. I'm willing to try them. I tried some things I did not get where I wanted to. So we'll go from there. But overall, these are impressive scores. I've compared them with other reviewers online, and I looked at other reviews online as well because I think it's important to get as much data as possible to make sure that the product is where it should be at, and I don't have like some crazy bad product or a crazy good one as well. And they're all within a standard average of error, and I think that that's great. Overall, this processor has some great statistics with it. Overall, AMD really put the effort into it, and since I got done with all my benchmarks, just going over some of the specs of this thing, it's got 20 megs of cache, 4 on L2, 16 on L3. That just going through that and improving that side of their cache side was huge. They don't all have the cache speeds that Intel has, but Intel has their fab plants. They have everything, and they can really tune quite well based upon that. I've been impressed that AMD is able to jump in after so many years out of competition in the high end and give a product that is competitive. That was a big thing. I'm impressed overall, very impressed. And 14 nanometers, coming from Global Foundries, 8 cores, 16 threads, and 3.6 base clock and 4 gigahertz turbo clock with XFR on it. And this has been an impressive processor for what I've been using it for. I use a lot of video editing, and it has done great. Now, I know I probably can shave off a little bit of time if I was at the 6900 or maybe even the new Intel one, which I would have had to wait longer. I didn't know Intel would have came out with their HDT this fast, but the 6900 was set with $1,000, right, or probably about 1,100, and this was at 500, and that price is actually very crucial. And for me, I wanted to keep costs as low as possible, so I went with the Ryzen 7. Now, Threadripper's around the corner here sometime in the summer, and I kind of wish I waited overall to see what that is, because if I was willing to spend $1,000 on a processor, I don't know where the price is going to be. That would be better. But for this price range, for what I wanted, for what it does, it's amazing. I know it's a little bit short on the gaming side. We'll see as more games get tuned, and that can be a benefit. As more things get tuned to Ryzen, that can be a benefit as well. And the next generation Ryzen increment was going to be an improvement, I hope, as well. And that AMD can keep the pressure on Intel going forward, and then Intel can keep pressure on AMD so we don't get in this lull for 10 years. Overall, I like this processor. I recommend it. If you are considering an Intel processor, look at the Ryzen 7 in the same series. Consider your options. Consider maybe overall maybe throwing a little bit more money in a different area if you want to go this route. And I think the competition is great in this area again, and I'm super excited that we finally have true competition again in the processor market. And so, like I said, I recommend this. I recommend you always take a look and see what's out there, especially now that it's competitive. And I would definitely use this again. As you can see, I'm going to have a task manager screenshot here of me running one of my videos. It uses 100% of CPU, works great, and I keep pounding this thing and it keeps on working. So I'll update you as the memory overclocks get better here and the compatibility with their next BIOS update. And I'll leave those in the comments below so you can take a look at them. I want to thank you for helping me grow this channel and watching this review, and continue your support. Thanks for watching Gray Overload. If you like this content, be sure to subscribe, and don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Gray Overload.